Alyssa Milano's latest display of irony has reached new heights, making it almost impossible to ignore. At 52, the actress turned activist has built a reputation for public missteps that often become the center of online discussions. However, her most recent move takes things to a whole new level, blending irony and contradiction in a way that has the internet both amused and baffled. This situation revolves around Elon Musk, Twitter, and a decision that many see as a self-inflicted embarrassment. To set the stage, Milano, a vocal critic of Musk's leadership at Twitter, decided to make a statement by getting rid of her Tesla. In an attempt to distance herself from the billionaire, she proudly announced that she had replaced it with a Volkswagen. On the surface, this might seem like a simple personal choice, but the irony quickly became apparent. Volkswagen, as history shows, has a complicated past, raising questions about the logic behind her decision. Milano even took to social media to share her move, seemingly believing it was a bold statement against Musk. However, instead of receiving praise, her decision sparked widespread discussions, with many pointing out the unintended irony. What was likely meant as a stand for her beliefs ended up becoming yet another viral moment for all the wrong reasons. In a now-deleted tweet, Alyssa Milano confidently announced her decision, stating, "I gave back my Tesla. I'm not sure how advertisers can buy space on Twitter. Products being pushed in alignment with hate and white supremacy don't seem like a winning business model." This statement, intended as a powerful stance against Elon Musk and his management of Twitter, quickly became the subject of widespread ridicule. Enter the Hodge twins, who wasted no time turning Milano's protest into the joke of the week. Their response was swift and brutal. Alyssa Milano traded in her Tesla for a Volkswagen because she's upset with Elon Musk. Volkswagen was literally founded by the Nazis. You can't make this stuff up. The irony of the situation hit like a freight train. What was meant to be a moment of moral grandstanding ended up exposing a glaring lack of historical awareness, highlighting the performative nature of her outrage. The internet, of course, had a field day. Commentators piled on, questioning how one could accuse Musk of supporting hate while proudly switching to a car brand with actual historical ties to one of the darkest periods in history. The tone-deaf nature of the move was almost impressive in its absurdity. And just when it seemed the situation couldn't get any worse, Elon Musk himself stepped in with his trademark wit. With a single word, Volkswagen, he dismantled the entire argument, delivering a knockout punch in the simplest way possible. The tweet instantly went viral, cementing Milano's misstep as yet another example of the contradictions often found in performative activism. Musk's response was the internet equivalent of dropping the mic, but this situation goes beyond just one celebrity's embarrassing misstep. It serves as a case study in the pitfalls of performative activism, a culture driven by shallow gestures and moral grandstanding, often without much self-awareness or logical consistency. Milano's tweet was a textbook example of this. In the rush to be on the right side, the glaring contradiction in her actions was completely overlooked. It raises the question, is this truly about principles, or is it just about maintaining appearances online? Beyond the irony of the situation, the backlash also revealed a deeper issue within woke culture: its reliance on mob mentality. According to the Hodge twins, Milano's sudden hostility toward Musk may not have been entirely her own doing. They speculated that Hollywood's social circles could have encouraged or outright pressured her to take a stand against him. After all, Musk has been a vocal advocate for free speech and has repeatedly challenged virtue signaling, posing a direct threat to the carefully controlled narratives that many in these circles uphold. And the most striking part? It wasn't too long ago that Milano was singing Musk's praises. She once publicly celebrated Tesla as a symbol of progress and hailed Musk as a pioneer. Fast forward to 2022, and suddenly he's being painted as a villain. The abrupt shift raises an important question. Was this truly a change in beliefs, or just another case of someone following the script dictated by the loudest voices in the room? The shift wasn't just abrupt, it felt calculated, almost as if a switch had been flipped, turning Musk, once celebrated for his innovations, into public enemy number one. And what changed? He became the owner of a platform that champions free speech. Suddenly, the same figure who was once hailed for pushing boundaries was now being cast as a villain. But this isn't just about one person's public misstep. It's a reflection of a much larger pattern, the standard playbook of performative activism. The formula is simple: loudly signal virtue, ignore glaring contradictions, and hope no one calls it out. Yet, as this Twitter fiasco proves, people are noticing. The internet has a way of exposing hypocrisy, and the reflection it offers isn't always flattering. Musk's takeover of Twitter was a seismic event in the ongoing culture war, shaking up a space that had long been dominated by one-sided narratives. For years, platforms like Twitter enforced ideological conformity, silencing dissenting voices under the pretense of safety and inclusion. Now, with those restrictions loosened, the backlash from certain circles has been swift and, at times, almost theatrical. Milano's misstep is just one small piece of a much bigger picture, one where the fear of open discourse drives performative outrage, even at the cost of credibility. Musk's promise to restore free speech was a direct challenge to the status quo, and it's no surprise that it unsettled many. But the attempt to protest his actions only served to highlight the contradictions and shallow reasoning that often characterize performative activism. What was meant to be a strong moral stance quickly unraveled, exposing the inconsistencies at the heart of these performative gestures. In the end, this isn't just about Musk or Twitter, it's about a broader cultural shift. More and more people are growing tired of empty outrage and surface-level virtue signaling. The cracks in this ideology are becoming harder to ignore, and moments like this Twitter debacle only accelerate that awareness. While it's easy to laugh at the absurdity of it all, it also speaks to a deeper issue about the state of our culture, one where ideological purity often trumps reason, and social clout is prioritized over genuine principles. And now, here we are again. Alyssa Milano is back in the headlines, throwing around buzzwords and treating activism like a badge of honor. But let's not forget the irony. Not too long ago, she called Elon Musk a genius and praised his innovations. Fast forward to today, and she's suddenly leading the charge against him. The rapid shift in narrative raises the question, is this about real convictions, or just another case of following the loudest voices in the room? Today, she's flipped the script faster than the latest kombucha trend. This is the woke playbook in action. Find a high-profile figure, amplify their outrage, and weaponize them against anyone who dares to step out of line. Whether Milano's recent tirades were entirely her own doing, or if she's playing a role in a larger agenda, the result remains the same: a glaring spotlight on the contradictions and double standards within her ideology. Let's not sugarcoat it. This isn't just a spat between a celebrity and a billionaire tech mogul. It's a small-scale representation of a much larger cultural battle, one between rigid ideological dogma and those willing to challenge its shaky foundations. And in this case, the miscalculation was massive. Fans and critics alike were quick to weigh in on the fiasco. One commenter quipped, "I'd call her dumb as a rock, but that's unfair to rocks." Another went even further, stating, "Most actors should stick to acting. Their opinions are worthless." The internet's verdict was clear. Activism like this feels less like a meaningful stand and more like a bad Hollywood sequel, predictable, out of touch, and destined to flop. Just when it seemed the drama had peaked, Milano took it to full soap opera levels by deleting her Twitter account. The reason? Reports suggest she couldn't handle Musk's open support for Trump's re-election campaign after previously predicting his defeat. Of course, no one is outright saying that's why she left. But let's be real, the timing is about as subtle as a sledgehammer. Ever since Musk turned Twitter into a self-proclaimed free speech battleground, the platform has become ground zero for ideological clashes. Milano's departure doesn't feel like a bold stand, it feels like a strategic retreat. Instead of engaging in open discourse, she chose to walk away, perhaps realizing that the platform wasn't as easily controlled as before.